So Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez just got announced, and this is a really great fight. It's between two very good young prospects. So because the prospects are quite young, I thought I'd better wear a very age-appropriate t-shirt, which is my Too Drunk t-shirt, which is a brilliant t-shirt in my opinion. Love it. But Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez, two very young prospects. A lot of people are saying this is a big step up in competition for Raul Rosas Jr., and it is for sure. But I do think he might be able to get past Christian Rodriguez here, but I think this is one of those matchups where they put two very young prospects against each other, and then whoever wins, they can kind of push going forward. Like if Raul Rosas Jr. loses, it'll be a very minor step back for a major comeback situation. Like then they can maybe give him like one of the really lower ranked guys in the bantamweight division, you know what I mean? Like maybe someone like around here in the rankings that they think is a very winnable matchup for him. But then if Christian Rodriguez wins, they can start to push Christian Rodriguez a little bit, because Raul Rosas Jr. does have so much name value, so they can push Christian Rodriguez as a prospect himself and maybe build his name up, and maybe he can go on a little bit of a run himself at such a young age. But it's on UFC 287. I'm really looking forward to the card. It's looking like it's going to be a very good card, but I'm going to talk about the card towards the end of the video. So let's just talk about the matchup. Grappler versus grappler. Raul Rosas Jr. though, he is an MMA fighter. Like he's very well rounded. He does have good striking, but to me, he's mostly a wrestler and a grappler, and that's kind of what he does in his fights. He goes for takedowns very early on, and he goes for submissions. My main concern about Raul Rosas Jr. in his career is actually a very good thing, but my problem potentially with Raul Rosas Jr. is that this guy has faced absolutely no adversity like whatsoever in his career. So I'm very interested to see like what happens if he does face adversity, because Raul Rosas Jr., he dominated all of his regional scene opponents. Like they weren't really the best competition, and then he fought Mando Gutierrez, and to be brutally honest, Mando Gutierrez is a very good fighter, but it was a stylistic matchup that Raul Rosas Jr. could potentially look very good in, and he did, because Mando Gutierrez was also a grappler, so Mando Gutierrez also wanted to grapple, and in that matchup, Raul Rosas Jr. just was the better grappler. I picked him to win, and he did win, which is good for him. And then he fought Jay Perrin and just dominated Jay Perrin within a round, which is something that Mario Batista couldn't do. But, yeah, Raul Rosas Jr., I think this guy's legit, man. He's only 18 years old as well. I think a lot of people need to remember. We've got time to build him up, you know what I mean? Like, there's no point in throwing Raul Rosas Jr. in there. Hey, Raul Rosas Jr., it's your second fight. Here's Tony Gravely. It's your second fight, Raul Rosas Jr. Here's Douglas Silva D'Andrade. Like, we can build this guy up. We've got so much time. Like, we've probably got... I think John Jones became the champion at, what, the age of, like, 23? I want to say maybe 24. Raul Rosas Jr. has time. He's got so much time, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to push this guy to be a champion under the age of 20. I know like it's probably what he wants in his mind, but I really think that we can take the time to build this guy up. And as for Christian Rodriguez, he's 25 years old. He's not an old guy himself. He's a young up-and-coming prospect, and he's looked very good in this UFC tenure, even though he did have a loss. He fought on Dana White's Contender Series, beat Junior Cortez by decision, who was actually Tracy Cortez's younger brother, I believe, or older brother, sorry. And then he fought Ryan McIntosh, but Ryan McIntosh was just a short notice replacement for a fighter that he was meant to fight. And then he fought Jonathan Pierce on short notice, upper weight class. Super tough fight, but he looked really good in that loss. He showed some very good defensive grappling. He showed some very good grappling. That was upper weight class against Jonathan Pierce, who at one point was ranked number 15 before Alex Caceres took that ranking. So that was a very well-aging loss in my opinion. And then he fought Joshua Weems, who was a short notice opponent for him, but he beat Joshua Weems by first round submission. So Christian Rodriguez is looking good in his run as well. And he's also a guy that you can definitely keep your eye on, because he's a very good prospect in my opinion, and a very good grappler. He's definitely going to do something. But the spotlight really is on Raul Rosas Jr. here. I think Rosas Jr., I think he's going to find some adversity in this matchup. I don't think Christian Rodriguez is going to be a guy he can just run over like he has his opponents in his past. And that's kind of why I'm a little bit worried that he's never fought any adversity, because the problem is, as soon as he does get in some adversity, we want to see how he can deal with that. Because a lot of the times, when you see super dominant guys, and they're fighting guys that they're set up to win, and they just dominate them, and then they get into some adversity, they don't really come back. I do trust that Raul Rosas Jr. though is going to build up the right way. I think he's going to touch some adversity in this fight, though. I think Christian Rodriguez is definitely going to give Raul Rosas Jr. a very tough fight, but I do think Rosas Jr. is going to come out on top. I would be surprised if Rosas can get a finish over Christian Rodriguez. I mean, Jonathan Pierce couldn't do it upper weight class. Is a big hint there. I think Rosas Jr. does win a decision, but I think he looks very good in doing it. And I think it's going to be a fun fight, and I think Christian Rodriguez's stock is going to go up in a loss as well, which I think is going to be a pretty good thing for him too. But this is a great fight. Really, really looking forward to it. Definitely do not underestimate Christian Rodriguez in this matchup. But I like Raul Rosas Jr. I'm a fan of Raul Rosas Jr. He's 18 years old at the end of the day, man. Like, I'm 20 years old, and I'm like living in my dad's house, making YouTube videos while working 40-hour weeks. So, like, who am I to ever like saying anything negative about him? Obviously, I can give criticism, but man, you can't hate someone out hustling you, man. That's what Raul Rosas Jr. is doing. He's really out hustling all of us. 18 years old and he's in the UFC. Like, that's a legendary feat, and I don't think anyone's gonna touch that for a very long time, unless, like, I know like a lot of guys in Japan like make their debut at like 14 years old in pro MMA. I think Yamato Nishikawa, who was briefly signed to the UFC, I don't know if he's still signed to the UFC, but I think he made his pro debut at like the age of 14. I think Rosas Jr. made his pro debut at like the age of 15 or something like that. Like, maybe some guy from like Japan or something that made his debut super early and just is like on a rise that could maybe do something, but I think we're gonna see Rosas Jr. be the youngest fighter in UFC history for at least a couple of years for sure, in my opinion. But yeah, shout out to Raul Rosas, man. He's so likable too. He's like, I want to buy him on a minivan. Like, it's so good. I love that dude. But yeah, when he said that though, I kind of had to Google it. How old do you have to be to get a license in the United States? Because I got my license at 16 in New Zealand, but yeah, Rosas Jr. just doesn't have a license because he's too busy training. I respect the hustle, man. A lot of people thinking Rosas. A couple of people on the side of Rodriguez, keep in mind, there's 20 Tapology users. Now that I'm pretty far into the video, I'm going to talk about the card. I'm also going to talk about like what can we do in the future with Rosas, because bantamweight is not an easy division. Ludovic Sicilinian is gone. You know, that could have been maybe a fight that they could have used to build him. There's a couple of other guys that are gone. Brandon Davis is gone. Like, that was a fight that a lot of people maybe wanted to see set up. I personally want to see Guido Canetti versus Raul Rosas. We're talking about an 18-year-old versus a 43-year-old. I think it makes sense. I think maybe if he loses to Mario Batista, that's the fight that they make. And then maybe, like, if Raul Rosas Jr. gets past Christian Rodriguez, I'm trying to find them in the rankings. They're not too high up. I just can't see. This is really, really embarrassing. Raul Rosas is there, and Christian Rodriguez is there. So Raul Rosas is going to be like around 50. You know what I mean? So Guido Canetti, if he loses to Mario Batista, that's a fight that makes a lot of sense. And then from there, where do you go? You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to push him too hard. He's 18 years old at the end of the day. You got to really consider that he's 18 years old. What do? We can't give him Ronnie Lawrence. We can't do that, boys. We've got to maybe go Kyung Ho Kang from there, maybe, and then maybe we move up. Maybe Haley Ting. I think that could potentially be a winnable matchup. That's a tough fight, though. Man, there's no easy matchups. There's no easy fights. There really isn't. Like, who do you give him? There's no easy fights at bantamweight. So I'm very interested to see how his career goes moving forward. I think he beats Christian Rodriguez, and then I think he gonna continues up the ranking. That's Christian Canones, not Rodriguez. I'm such an idiot. But anyway, the point is, I think he's gonna stick around with these guys for a bit, for quite a while. I mean, he's 18 years old. We don't have to push him. I think over like maybe a 2-year period, he'll fight like guys like around like here. You know what I mean? And then we can start really pushing him against the Miles Johns, the John Castanedas, the Trevin Joneses, the Brian Callahers, the maybe not Helen Pipe's not even in the UFC anymore. Like, definitely stay away from Saeed Jokic. Like, damn, this is tough. This list is out of date, man, because Adrian Yanez is ranked number 24, but you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean? We can't push him too hard. Like, this is tough. It's a tough road to the title, man. But I do believe in Raul Rosas Jr. Do I think he's going to be a title challenger at some point in his career? Absolutely. But do I think he's going to get the title before he turns 21? I would be surprised, but I'm not going to put it past him. I'm just saying. Bantamweight is tough. Bantamweight is very, very tough, man. But anyway, let's have a look-see at the card. Michelle Waterson-Gomez gets another like really high spot on a card, which is crazy. I think she was on like a few pay-per-views recently. Like, Michelle Waterson-Gomez, like, when are we gonna start like giving up on this? You know what I mean? Like, she's like 1-4 in her last 5. Yeah, she was the co-main event of the ABC card. That's crazy. But anyway, Ignacio Bahamondes versus Nicholas Motta is going to be a banger. Nicholas Motta called out Ignacio Bahamondes on Twitter, and literally within like 3 or 4 days, the contract was signed and the fight was announced, which is awesome, and it's in front of a crowd, which is good, because this is going to be such a fun fight. Ignacio Bahamondes, though, he's gonna tower over Nicholas Motta, though, because Nicholas Motta's not that tall, man. Bahamondes is 6'3", and Motta is 5'9", and I just don't see Motta closing the distance on a man. Like, from personal experience, I'm not the tallest bloke in the world, and I have done a little bit of kickboxing and boxing in my time, you know what I mean? And when you're fighting someone taller than you, and you got to punch up, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. But yeah, that was terrible. Look at that technique, boys. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave the video there. Let me know what you think. Lupita Godin is making a return. She should beat Cynthia Calvillo, but I can never trust her again. She showed some of the worst fight IQ I've ever seen in my life, and I'll never forgive her for it. But let me know what you think of the video. And oh my god, that was 11 minutes. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.